Welcome to the Mass Ave Partial Construction Project. This presentation documents the information which the City shared at our December 5th, 2023 Project Open House. The December Open House focused on the Linnaean Street to Waterhouse Street section of the project. We have broken up this presentation into two separate videos. This video provides background on the overall Mass Ave Partial Construction Project. The second video includes details on our first specific concept design for the section of the project between Linnaean Street and Waterhouse Street. Let's review the project background and work completed to date. The Mass Ave Partial Construction Project will help fulfill the requirements of the City's Cycling Safety Ordinance, or CSO. The CSO, as passed in 2019 and amended in 2020, requires installation of separated bicycle lanes on all of Massachusetts Avenue. A quick-build implementation between Dudley Street and Alewife Brook Parkway was required by April 30th, 2022 and was completed on schedule. The CSO also required the City Council to approve a strategy and schedule for implementation along the remainder of Mass Ave. In 2022, City staff completed a feasibility study for the section of Mass Ave between Waterhouse Street and Alewife Brook Parkway. The study looked at three possible ways to implement the project. A quick build approach, similar to what has been implemented north of Dudley Street, a full build approach, similar to recent city projects such as Western Avenue, and a partial construction approach, similar to improvements made in Porter Square in 2022. This slide shows the opportunities and limitations of these three approaches. In the end, the City recommended the partial construction approach, as it would preserve more parking and loading than the quick build approach, but be significantly less costly and disruptive than the full build approach. The Council accepted this recommendation in April 2022, and the City began to plan for what is now called the Mass Ave Partial Construction Project. As mentioned previously, the Mass Ave Partial Construction Project includes Mass Ave from Waterhouse Street to Alewife Brook Parkway. Two segments within this section, Alewife Brook Parkway to Dudley Street and Beach Street to Roseland Street, had quick-build lanes installed in 2021 and 2022. An important part of the City's recommendation to Council was that these segments also be included in the partial reconstruction project. Re-examining these segments will allow for a cohesive design throughout the entire length of the project and allow for additional input from businesses and abutters in those areas. Now that we've reviewed the project background, let's take a look at the design approach for the overall corridor. We will discuss project goals and requirements, as well as separated bike lanes, curb use, bus lanes, and what we mean by partial construction. There are several key principles that shape all of the work we do in the City of Cambridge. We design infrastructure for people of all ages and abilities, including those who may not have access to a car. We also focus on moving people and goods rather than individual vehicles. This may mean priority measures for high-capacity vehicles such as buses. This project aims to improve the safety and comfort for all users while supporting the needs of local businesses. The City's Cycling Safety Ordinance requires the implementation of separated bike lanes along the entire Mass Ave corridor. The project must balance the needs of all users and meet requirements of this ordinance. The project must also stay within the limits of partial construction to maintain the timeline for implementation as approved by the City Council in 2022. Separated bike lanes, or bike lanes that are physically separated from vehicular traffic using flex posts or raised curbs, offer several safety and functionality benefits. Separated bike lanes reduce conflicts and crashes between vehicles and cyclists and increase comfort for all users. This allows more people of all ages and abilities to choose cycling as their method of transportation, supporting the City's goals for safety and sustainability. There are many demands for use of space along a curb. Curb use includes parking to access businesses or services, pulling over for a short time to make a delivery or to pick up or drop off passengers, bus stops, and seasonal uses like outdoor dining. This slide shows a number of tools we can use to serve the various curb use demands of the corridor. Floating parking or loading spaces can be added between the separated bike lane and the travel lane. These spaces are also flexible and can be converted to other uses temporarily, such as outdoor dining. Loading zones are especially important as they allow for businesses to receive deliveries as well as accommodate pickup and drop-off activities, and we need to be very strategic about where they are located. Parking regulations along side streets can be reviewed and adjusted as needed to provide for uses which are displaced by Mass Ave. Accessible parking can be located along the curb or be floating near a curb ramp so that people can get up to the sidewalk level from the space. Finally, floating bus stop islands help ensure separation between cyclists and those waiting for the bus. One of the goals of the project, in addition to improving safety, is to improve MBTA bus travel times and reliability along Mass Ave. One of our main tools to accomplish this is the use of dedicated bus-only lanes, either full-time or part-time. This slide shows the three basic arrangements of bus lanes which we're studying, and different sections of the corridor may end up being treated differently. In the first option, full-time bus lanes are provided in both directions, which means we only have room on one side of the street for curbside uses. The actual side of the street which curbside use can vary along the corridor. In the second option, a full-time bus lane is provided on one side with a peak hour only bus lane provided in the other direction. This would allow for full-time curb use on one side and off-peak curb use on the other side. In the third option, a bus lane is provided in one direction only, with full-time curb use on both sides. Partial construction includes the ability to remove the median and implement spot-constructed improvements and utility upgrades where needed, but maintains the sidewalks as they are today. Separated bike lanes will be implemented using buffer separation materials similar to quick-build bike lanes, such as flex posts or concrete curbing. The partial construction approach will provide more opportunities for parking and loading while offering a faster implementation timeline than a full construction project. To conclude this overview of the Mass Ave partial construction project, we would like to explain the community engagement process and describe where we are in the schedule and what's coming up next. The city wants to hear from as many people, businesses, and local institutions as possible as we develop designs for the project. A working group was formed at the start of the process and has been working with the city to help guide the design and outreach efforts. The working group also helps us communicate the project across out to the larger community. We have invited corridor businesses to have one-on-one conversations with us so we can make sure that they are well informed about the project and so that they can tell us about their specific needs and concerns. We are also holding a series of open houses along the corridor as specific segments are designed. For those unable to attend the in-person open houses, videos such as the one you are watching now will be developed. We are glad to present this material in person as requested by neighborhood groups, senior housing facilities, or for any other institution or group who prefers in-person visits. As shown on this timeline, we are currently in the concept design phase of the project. Due to the length and complexity of the corridor, we're breaking up the design into segments for both the design effort as well as the community engagement. In December 2023, we released the proposed concept for the Linnaean to Waterhouse Street segment. The details of that concept were available for comment at our December 5th open house and can also be viewed and commented on the project page. As the team develops concepts for the remaining segments of the project between Linnaean Street and Alewife Brook Parkway, we will be conducting similar open houses and posting the concepts online. If you have any questions or would like to provide additional comments, please email the team at massav4@cambridgema.gov. Thank you for watching.